This is Dante Williams, and you're watching Dontaesboxingnation.
Yo, it's your boy Zach from the Computer, and you're watching Dontaesboxingnation. Keep it locked right here, man.
Dontaesboxingnation, what's going on, guys? So following the Canelo versus Lara fight, Oscar De La Hoya, he said possible opponents for Canelo Alvarez in his next fight include Gennady Golovkin, basically suggesting that his very next opponent could be Triple G. But yet at the same time, we all know that they're looking at James Kirkland. And this is my whole thing. This is what doesn't make sense to me. If you have an option to fight the best middleweight in the world right now, which is Triple G, or you could fight against James Kirkland, a guy who's probably not even in the top 10 of the junior middleweights right now, and you just fought against Erislandy Lara, Floyd Mayweather, Austin Trout, why would you pick James Kirkland over Gennady Golovkin? It doesn't make any sense, right? Unless this is just a smokescreen to lowball James Kirkland in negotiations. Basically get James Kirkland thinking, look, this is what we're giving you. You take it or leave it. If you don't take it, we're moving on. And we're fighting against Gennady Golovkin. That to me sounds more logical. I think Oscar De La Hoya, he knows, like I know, that Canelo Alvarez is going to have to be protected. He's going to have to hold Canelo Alvarez's hand because Canelo Alvarez is a loss waiting to happen, especially if he's going to be fighting the top-notch fighters like the Charlo brothers, Demetrius Andrade, Triple G. Anybody on that level, Oscar understands what's going on. I assume he understands what's going on. So most likely, we probably will see a James Kirkland fight. Now, this is a situation where I would really like to be wrong. Man, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm dead wrong and Oscar is sincere and Team Canelo is sincere and they really do want to face Gennady Golovkin. I mean, eventually, I know Canelo wants to stay at 154, but he's going to have to move up eventually because he can barely make the weight at 154, okay? So it'll be very interesting to see him move up and fight against a guy who is naturally bigger than he is. And I think we all can agree that Canelo would have a very slim chance of beating Triple G. I think we can all agree on that. His style is tailor-made for Triple G. Canelo doesn't have the best defense. He cannot fight a whole 3 minutes in every single round. I'll tell you this right now, man. From a boxing fan's perspective, I would love to see Canelo versus Triple G. From a boxing promoter's perspective, I would never want to see my guy go in there against Triple G. And let me be more specific. When I say my guy, I'm talking about Canelo. Because I know that Canelo is a flawed fighter that would be tailor-made for Triple G. No doubt about it. If I was Canelo Alvarez's promoter, I would definitely keep him protected. I would not put him in the ring with the best fighters in the division. I would continue to put him in the ring with fighters like James Kirkland, someone who has a name, but they don't really have the best chin, so we know we can get the knockout. And those are the type of fighters that I would put him in the ring with, right? Now, Miguel Cotto, I may put him in the ring with Miguel Cotto, even though I personally know that now Miguel Cotto is a much better fighter than Canelo Alvarez, but we know that Canelo always has a very good puncher's chance. And the consensus would be Miguel Cotto has already been stopped or beat up pretty bad against Margarito and Manny Pacquiao. Maybe my fighter, Canelo Alvarez, being a natural bigger and probably stronger fighter, can do the same thing that those boxers were able to do to Miguel Cotto. That's just the consensus. But I know later on, I would have no choice. Eventually, I would have to put Canelo back in the ring with another type of Lara or, like I said, Charlo brothers or whoever else is at the top of the division. And when I make that move, all I can really say is God help us all. But I think logically we all know what makes the most sense. Go ahead and put Canelo in the ring with a fighter that we know he can walk through. like a James Kirkland. Now, that's not to suggest the fight won't be competitive, because I believe some rounds, for as long as it lasts, might be competitive. But let's face it, that's a tailor-made fight for Canelo, because James Kirkland, he doesn't really have the chin anymore. So put him in there with James Kirkland, you get a guaranteed win, and that sets up a huge Mexico versus Puerto Rican rivalry in May. And that's pretty much the most logical thing to do. I would be happy as a fan to see Cotto versus Canelo or Canelo versus Triple G. But I'm not too crazy about Canelo versus James Kirkland. But at the same time, I understand the promoter's perspective. Okay? So that's pretty much all I got to say. I'm on to the next one.